That was when I had... We'll get rid of this. I'll add a stroke. Okay, make it really thick. And I'm gonna go to my caps. Round cap, round join. Taper it a bit. So see how now I'm getting that thick to thin like they had. So I used a taper. I rounded the caps for the and the join. So now if I add a trim path, let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna animate the end of it. Start 0, go to 1. There you go. That's working. So that's one way of getting that first type of look. And then let's see what happens if we wiggle the paths. Give a little life to it. So that was adding wiggle paths. That was twist. Adding twist to it. Let's see what we can do with twist here. Okay, that's what the center's doing. That's the angle. Okay, so let's try a wiggle there, but something subtle. Let's say twice a second, 30. See what that does. So that's a bit much. Let's do 10. I got a little bit of extra life to it there if you wanted. And then we could start worrying about the look of it. So then we could throw things like roughen edges on it. Cut? No, I think rust may be what we're looking for here. The more you increase the border, the more it's eating into the inside of it. And adding the sharpness to it will give it more of that chalkboard look. You could also adjust the fractal influence. If you want a smaller look, just scale it down a little bit, like such. Now, evolution, if we want this to keep moving inside it, that's where I do my time, asterisk. Let's try 150, so it's not moving too fast. Let's take a look. See how we're starting to get some of that, you know, just by playing around with that? So they're doing things like roughen edges. You could also do a displacement map. And with a lot of these shapes that you see in these motion designs, let's move this here. I'll scale it down a little bit. Put on my title safe area. And I'm going to move my anchor point so it's near the center of the screen. And let's try a radial expression. This looks like it might be it. So it might be under the rotate. Let's see. that rotated it 20 times. So if I duplicate this, times, it makes a circle. Okay, so that's what it was. So let me undo, and I'll explain that expression to you in a second. Just making sure I found the right one. Okay, you still with me?
Yes.
I held down Alt or Option on whatever shape layer I want. It's at the center of the screen roughly. My anchor point's at the bottom, you know, so it's like the hands of a clock. Got that? The expression is right here. Index asterisk. 360 is a full circle. /20. 20 is the number of shapes it takes to get a full circle. If I change this to 6, now it'll take 6 of these shapes to make a full circle. So I duplicate Command D. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, 6. See? I only had to create one and do the animation and the texture on it. And now I've got that radial design they had. So let me undo that. I'm going to press U for my keyframes. I need to get to my trim path. It's drawing itself on. And then I can say, let's draw it off, which is the end point, like such. So let me easy ease these. That's my quick motion test. Draw on, draw off. My expression's still on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like such. So you can time that however you want. Does that help you out a little bit?
Yeah.
I used rough and edges, added a little bit of life to it. So on the shape layer itself, I chose add. Like, you know, you gotta be on the arrow tool with the shape layer selected, and there's add up here, there's add down there. So what I added to it was trim paths, wiggle paths, and twist. So I've got those labeled. So it's a combination of, you know, getting a less computerized looking shape. Now, if we want to push this even more, you could put texture in there and noise to give it some life. But I'm also going to make a new solid. I'll put a little bit of a displacement map in there. Call this fractal. Okay. Fractal noise. And I'm going to use this as my displacement map. And let's do a smaller one, so it's not too big. And I could have this constantly moving by adding time to the evolution. I held down Alt or Option and clicked on that stopwatch. Let's do 125. Let's see what that looks like. Subtle little motion there. Give it a little bit of life.
It sound right, boys.
So now I can pre-compose this. Move all attributes, click OK. Put it at the bottom, hide it. And if I want to affect every layer at one time, I add an adjustment layer. You can also get there by going layer, new, adjustment layer. So here's my adjustment layer. I throw my displacement map on there. This will affect every layer below it. I choose my fractal map, effects and mask. Now we're really pushing it a little bit more. Something a little subtler than that. See how that looks so much different than it did before? It's got that more painterly, hand-drawn look.
Sound right, boys.
And you can choose how much you want to displace it. It's all about pushing your look. Now I've got you all here, so we're going to mess around a little bit more. Let's try the dreaded colorama. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. I'm going to go back to 8-bit. Holding down Alt or Option, clicking there. Now colorama's going to work, okay?
It sound right,
Let's
boys.
try... blend it a little bit. What's going to happen if I put an expression on here? Now, I'm just randomly guessing to see what happens if I put an expression there. Okay, so that's not going to drive anything there. So I'm going to turn that off. Oh, wait. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's try 3 cycle repetitions there. Oh, look at that. We just did a quick, fast, easy colorizing of it. That might even help with your text, too. So it was cycle repetitions of this color wheel. So let's try golden. Now watch it, like I said earlier, you don't want it to be too flickering. You don't want to cause anyone to have a seizure. That one is more intense because there's far more points on it. See that? A little bit of color and interest, quick and easy, along with our texture and the roughening and all the edge work we did. And remember, you're all going to get this file. So just click on the effects control, hit U, look at where I put any expressions on things. That help you out a little bit? Okay, so now you see how you can quickly make shapes look less computerized and generic, add a little bit of organic painterly look to them, quickly flicker between colors. So now it's really just doing whatever you want with any shapes or images you want to draw. It was good that we got to do the radial expression, which you put in the rotation. And it's that simple. It's index, asterisk, 360 for a full circle, slash, and then the number of shapes to make that circle. So, you can do it with 3, you can do it with 5. It's all up to you. Just make sure you duplicate that. And what this index does is every time you duplicate a layer, it's rotating it. See there, it's rotated, 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 and makes the circle for you with each duplicate. So pretty quick and easy way to get a little bit of pizzazz. Let me try something here. I just did a couple points, okay? Go make this thinner. Add zigzag. Look at that. Now we've got a ton more points in zigzag. Smooth. Now we've got that happening, okay? And you could say the size of it. We could also at this point, if you want to add some interest to it, is you go to your stroke and taper it if you want. Like that. Look how quick and easy I got that. It was zigzag. Now, side segments. Okay, we got that happening. We got that happening. Here's my shape. And I'm thinking aloud. I'm like, okay, I've got a stroke. So check this out. I've got all these stroke stopwatches. Okay, I don't need to taper it anymore. There's my wave. Oh, hold on. Maybe it is inside trim paths where I can get an offset. So I'm going to add trim paths. Here's my offset. So let's put an expression in there. Let's go time asterisk 200. So it's constantly offsetting. And let's see if this animates itself for us. And since we have a taper, that's why it's doing that. So that's constantly moving for us based off of that. So if you have multiple shapes making this, it'll do that for each one. So let me demonstrate that. Let's see what we got here. We'll copy this shape. That was all animation hierarchy that we just saw. Okay, so I'm going to paste. Now I'm going to get rid of my trim path. Good. Now with this, I can go to my path and redraw it. There's my path. I'm gonna hit the minus. And I'll get rid of that taper in a second. So make this much thinner. And I'm keeping my shape selected so it's all in one layer. So I've got all that happening. So we'll pretend this is one section of the telescope. Now I need to add a fill to it. So I'm going to add black. So that when we have the other layers move out from underneath it, oops, then it'll look like magic. All right, so let me scale this down a little bit. It's a little too big. Okay, my anchor point's up at the top. I can live with that. So I'll call this top of telescope. Command D to duplicate it. Mid telescope. Duplicate it, Command D. Bottom telescope. All right. Oh, ha ha ha. Let me turn off that expression. I'm holding down Alt or Option and clicking on the stopwatch that has it. There we go. All right, so that fixes that. Top, then the mid, then the bottom. All right. So let's move this one. We'll scale it down a little bit. Okay, good. Then we'll move this one. Scale down even more. I'm going to grab all of them and move them together. Okay, so let's make it look like this is animating out now. So we know it's going to go, the middle's going to push out the top, and the bottom's going to move out of that. So how can we keep this together? Would parenting help or hurt? Let's try and parent the bottom to the middle. I can still move them independently. And I'll parent the middle to the top, because just in case you go moving this around, you want them to stay together. Okay, so we'll go forward a little bit. And this is where I'm going to want it to start sliding down. I've already gotten the location I want. So I go back to the first position, move it up inside the first part. And for the bottom of the telescope, I'm going to let that hang for a little bit. Start my motion here. Go forward. There. Okay, so here, I can move this up inside it. So let's see if it works that way. And let me hit U for my keyframes. Easy ease them. Reduce my render bar. Animation hierarchy. We've got all that life and interest and texture from the first stroke. So if you like a look, you know, like what we came up with here, you can copy that shape layer, bring it into a new sequence for another part of your animation and adjust it there. Like I got rid of the taper and I changed the line thickness, but I still have the expressions I put on it to give it that constant little bit of motion. I hope that helps some of you think through some of your animation hierarchy and come up with complex looks a little bit quicker. All right, so hopefully people found this lab time helpful. Reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns.